Thank you very much for coming out to our information session. As you know, we're Stephenson Engineering. My name is Alon. This is Danny, and we're just going to do a little presentation for you about our company and just some of the information about us. If you have any questions throughout the slides, please feel free to ask. Otherwise, we'll do a Q&A at the end. If you have any specific questions for me or for Danny, we can talk more as a group, or if you want to come up to us afterwards and ask any questions, feel free. This is just a open discussion here. So, about Stephenson Engineering, just a little bit about us. We started off as a two-person company back in 1969, and now we have, actually I think we're a little over 95 staff right now. So we've been growing significantly. We have an office in Toronto and Calgary, and we just recently opened up a brand new office in Ottawa. So we're starting out some projects and some new business in that area as well. We have an actively growing building science group, which I'm part of, and we'll get into more discussions about what that is later on. We have an award-winning structural team. If you follow any of the CSE newsletters or Consulting Engineers of Ontario, we've received a few awards recently, some of the new buildings we've been working on. And we are the early adopters of some new technology, which Danny will talk about later on, some interesting technologies that we've implemented into some of our designs. These are the four principals of the company right now. Myself personally, I work under Mosin over there. Danny?
I work under Zoran.
So each principal specializes in different types of projects, different types of deliverables. So and we each have different expertise. Some of the sectors that we specialize in is pretty diverse. Pretty much specializing in almost every single sector. Residential, condominiums, student residences we've done, healthcare, hospitals, manufacturing facilities. Danny, which ones have you worked on?
So far, mostly just residential and commercial, mostly condos, office buildings, the waterfront, developing that area. So I'm sure over time I'll be jumping into healthcare and hospitals.
Yeah.
So you kind of get touch base on all the sectors for our company.
We have expertise in a lot of the sectors, and of course, as the market fluctuates, healthcare is popular in one period, and then commercial might be popular in a different period. So obviously, the sectors fluctuate. But generally, the staff that we have at the company have specializations in all of these sectors. Talk a little bit about our team. These are some of the staff members. So we were saying 95 staff members now across the Toronto, Calgary, and now the Ottawa office, and growing. It's a little bit more about our team. Who are we? What kind of people are we looking for? Honest, accountable, open-minded staff. We have our high-performance targets, which we can discuss later on. Passionate team members who are committed to their projects, committed to the teams, and committed to the company.
When you get hired, these are essentially like the pillars of our company. This is what we try to stand by every day we come into work. We want to be creative, we want to help each other as a team and work as a team. You want to be responsible too, be true to yourself, and you also got to keep the client focused. You got to sort of work in their best interest and not necessarily yours at times. So it's just kind of what we go by.
So a little bit about us. This is me. I'm one of the project managers at Stephenson Engineering. I went to Mac and did the engineering and management program here and graduated in 2008. I was with a couple of companies before, but I joined Stephenson in 2012. So I've been with them for about 3.5, 4 years now. And just some of the projects that I've done. I'm specializing in the building science and restoration sector. So if any of you guys are familiar with that business area now, which is recently, I'd say in the last 10, 15 years, it's become a popular area for engineers, specifically structural engineers, to be getting themselves involved with. So these are some of the sample projects I've done personally, a lot of parking garage stuff, which kind of seems to be where I'm going. Just did some other interesting cladding stuff on some buildings downtown. I did a really cool project early on. We replaced a column in a building that was occupied, which was a lot of fun. That was an interesting little project there. Yeah.
So that's me. I went to the University of Toronto and did my bachelor's there, mostly structural courses. I later went back into my MH. Some of my key projects, as I mentioned, I've worked on residential and commercial. Most of these are condos, like Gerard, waterfront, Bayside, and the waterfront is also kind of a mixed-use building. It's an office and commercial as well. And then some of the ones below are ones that are upcoming. But yeah, so far, coming in, like I kind of get thrown into different aspects of the project because it's such a huge scale. One engineer will be doing columns and slabs, someone does the lateral analysis. So we kind of just like work together, follow the results, and put together some drawings.
Okay, so enough about us. Let's show some cool pictures, right? So these are kind of the two big divisions that we have within the company. I'm on the building science side, Danny's on the structural side. So we'll just go over a few sample projects to show what we've done and some cool things about them. Just again, some of the type of work that we do that we have new grads doing, and as you move through the company, just some of the type of work we're working on: specifications, structural reviews. We have in the building science side energy modeling, life cycle analysis. So we have quite a diverse spread of work that you would be working on if you ended up working with Stephenson Engineering. So we'll do a couple samples with the structural group.
I'll start off with the structural group. The first project, actually we have like a lot of projects, but these are some of the ones that kind of highlight who we are and what we do here. So the first one is the BRAMPTON Civic Hospital. I don't know if you're familiar with it. It's a very long building, and by requirement though, when you have long buildings, you have to implement expansion joints to allow for thermal expansion. So we were kind of faced with the requirement of limiting. So what we came up with was designing the building in two halves, and then at the end of the project, once the temperatures sort of equilibrate, we kind of fill in a strip of concrete, and then that's that. It kind of saved the architect a huge headache, and also ultimately a lot of money too, because expansion joints they continue throughout the entire plan structure. So we like to refer to it as a zipper because that's what it ended up looking like at the end.
It was one of the innovative technologies that we came up with as part of the design for this project that we like to showcase because other consultants haven't come up with ideas like this. So it was an interesting idea of a way to maintain the continuity of the building while still allowing for thermal expansion.
So the next one is the Toronto Detention Center. So typically when we work on a building, usually some of the more common precast items are stairs, and we account for in design by just plopping and opening in the drawings and then making sure that there's no structure that can attach that stair. So it kind of helps because you don't have to worry about designing the stairs and coordinating it, and all the sort of QC is done off-site, and you also save a lot of time. With this project in particular is that when you attack it and you want to make individual cells, you have to like have concrete wall, like thousands of concrete walls. One way to expedite the construction was by implementing precast. So these cells are made off-site, and then they're transferred over to the building, which we designed the base building for, and then needed the precast supplier to provide the cell. So this saved ultimately a lot of money in the sense that it reduced construction time, and also the quality control was and then our last one is this is kind of like our model. So
one of our showcase buildings.
Marketing showcase is the Richmond Center.
Does anyone know? Does anyone from downtown kind of know the area? Yeah. So I don't know if you know. Do you want to tell them about the old structure? What?
Basically, when a building's old enough, it gets a little bit hard to maneuver yourself in that law. Like you got to go through a lot of hurdles to take down historic buildings. So this building, which is masonry and timber, I guess the owner wanted to
maintain the heritage status of the building. Yes, we couldn't tear down the old building in order to create the residential condominium on top of it. So we had to come up with an innovative idea as to how do we build one on top of an existing building. So
eventually we came up with putting this building on top of this other building using a space frame, two triangles kind of leading at one point, and it was an innovative idea because one, you kind of use geometry and its stability of the triangle to hold the structure and also make it so that it's visually appealing too, because this is an atrium and you can't really be showing nuts and bolts and welds all over the place. So in the end, you get like a nice finish, And it's also, it works in the sense that at that node, you have equilibrium because the loads against the load. So in the end, you get like a final result that will structurally and also like the client's goal plan, which is, architecturally appealing, concept, nice, into the surface, good result.
Yeah, actually, we held a really cool party in the atrium of this building before it was open to the public. We invited a lot of clients and some contractors and some people that we work with, and we had a really cool evening in there. It was pretty neat before the building was even opened up to the public. So now on the building science side, which is where I work. Actually, I'll go back a little bit. Does anyone know about the building science and restoration? Waterproofing is one of the components, yeah. So a lot of the time I get called in when we have failures, when we have problems, structural concerns, waterproofing failures. So building science and restoration has really come around in the last few years, in the last 15 years, to become a dominant field. Especially a lot of people are not tearing down buildings and they're taking existing buildings and restoring them, which is where our group comes into play. Just a few sample projects we did. We recently completed a large bridge restoration project at Toronto Pearson Airport. I was involved on this project. A whole bunch of different components were implemented to get this project going. There was some soil stabilization on one of the embankments. Completely replaced the guardrails on the side of the building. Did some expansion joint replacement, asphalt and waterproofing paper replacements as well. As part of our group, we also have a group called a mini team called Small Projects. Small Projects implements unique custom projects and repair solutions for existing buildings, complicated solutions for clients. So this is an example of something that they would do: install a glass stair in a building that didn't exactly have a stair before, so we had to implement slab openings. We did the design for the stairs themselves, and we, as part of our team now, we have engineers that specialize in the glass design as well. So we're able to produce some. This is one of our showcase projects as well. This was another project I was working on. It's an existing school in downtown Toronto. It's a building from the late 60s, I believe. And we were called in because they had huge cracks in their floor slab. And we did some investigation and we found that underneath the floor slab, it was a slab on grade, there were massive voids everywhere. And the ground floor was actually settling. And so part of our scope of work was to replace the floor slab while the building was still active. This was a 2-story school with a 4-story residential community housing above it. So we replaced the ground floor slab while the school was still active and while people were still living upstairs. So that was a pretty neat project that combined some of the building science and restoration, some of my team from restoration and some of the small projects team for the structural work. So what we actually did, and I can get into more detail later on, but you can see these helical piers. We implemented a brand new foundation system independent of the rest of the building's foundation to carry the brand new floor slab. So you can see the final design, the final product looks like the original product without the settlement.
We're always learning, people always coming in and showing stuff. We also like to keep a close-knit group, so we have social events. I mentioned one when we had a client gala, and that was a good event for us to both interact with clients and also with co-workers as well. And we also have one spare feature, such as the staff golf tournament, which I enjoy because I'm not too much of a golfer myself, but there's a learning experience, and we've got bowling, party. There's lots of events that you can sort of put yourself out there to your coworkers that you don't see necessarily every day.
So what are the types of engineers or the types of students we're looking for when we graduate? We're looking for creative thinkers. We're looking for people who can think outside the box. I know that's something that you may have heard before, but I think that's an important component. Graduate university with a set of tools, a set of skills, and now you have to start implementing it. So you have to start thinking, how do I do this? How do I repair this problem? How do I implement this solution? So big box, creative thinkers. If you're looking to work, not just in Toronto, in Calgary, and potentially our Ottawa offices. That's something we would also consider. And we're looking for engineers that are socially engaged. We have a social committee in our office, and we have a bunch of social events, and we like when we get together after work. In some cases, the events are just for the staff. In some cases, they're family events as well. But we're looking for people who want to participate with the company, who want to grow the company, but also hang out, be part of the team. So, if you're interested in applying, that's where the resumes go to. And I believe that address is also on our website, and there's more information about the company and some of the services we offer on our website.